Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sabrina. I am a shamanic witch. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, thank you for coming back. Today, I kind of want to have a little chit chat about my thoughts and feelings on the coming year. I want to talk about turtle energy. As a shamanic witch, I have not really talked a lot about nature, animal, insect, fowl, mammal energies as much as I probably could have. I have not really paid that much attention. I have made a few videos on some animals that I felt came to me, such as owl. I've made several videos about that, and it does relate to Lilith. Today is Saturday, excuse me. And then I've made a couple of videos about how tiger came to me in a dream to warn me. And then at another time when I saw tiger and I paid attention, I made note of it. There was a person walking towards me in a huge tiger costume at a school. It was their mascot. And I took it to mean something because I'd had a dream that was so profound. When you're working with the earth and nature, and you're on this path and you're learning to reconnect to nature, pay attention. It's something that I have not really done a lot of lately, but you know, once in a while it's a blessing, because when somebody else points it out to you, that's the beauty of having friendships. If I knew everything, I wouldn't need friends, right? So I'm learning things here as we're going along, and I'm sharing things with you. Right now we're under the constellation of Sagittarius, and what I'm learning is that as the year progresses, energies don't diminish, they get stronger. And I think this is why I've noticed my energies getting stronger, in particular at the beginning of fall. And then at winter solstice, they're even stronger. And it's a powerful time for us to start setting our intentions now or on winter solstice, and then release them. Every year that I've done that, and I've been consciously doing it for the past 3 years, I have noticed something coming into my life. Now, the first time, what I noticed was my familiar coming to me. I decided that I needed to get over the loss of Bast, that I was grieving her too much. And so Diamond came into my life, and then she was pregnant. So then she had babies, and then I had, Jade was always hiding when somebody came over to pick a kitten, so she did not want to be anywhere else but with me and Diamond. And I'm pretty sure I have a little picture of her creeping out in the closet over a pillow, just looking at me. And she'd go over to my makeup mirror and she'd look in the mirror. She had been watching me, I think, put my makeup on, even as a tiny kitten. And a friend told me she really emulates you. So she, very, very, very family oriented, really, really, really did not want to be taken away from her mother or from me. And that was for a reason. I was meant to have her and Diamond. They're absolutely wonderful. It's a big responsibility. However, that's a blessing. If that comes into your life, a familiar is a fantastic thing for you to have. Spirit and ancestors can come into that familiar. And just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. To come close to you and to comfort you. They do it all the time. My familiars do it all the time. And they gave me joy during lockdown. So, again, that's the nature path. Don't discount a pet coming to you in some way. Now, when I was a little girl, my mom found a turtle in the driveway. I don't think that was a coincidence either. She brought it in the house, and I said, "Oh, can I keep it as a pet?" She said, "A pet?" I said, "Well, yeah, I don't know what we feed turtles. I'm going to have to find out what to feed turtles." So she did, And, you know, as the days went on, she's like, okay, well, now we've got a turtle, so you're going to have to name it. What are you going to name it? I said, I don't know. And finally, after a couple of days, I said, Volvo. She said, Volvo? That's the name of my car. I said, well, I can't think of anything else. So that was the name of my turtle. I don't remember what happened, but either at that time, because I was about the age of 7 or 8, and of course my mom had books of nursery rhymes, and I'm sure somebody had read nursery rhymes to me. And I remember I had a book of the Aesop's Fables and the Tortoise and the Hare. And it always had that explained to me and repeated to me throughout my life. Slow and steady wins the race. And if I can share with you my feelings and my thoughts on what's coming up in this next coming year, if you're not in tune with it already and you don't know, and I haven't read the cards and I don't listen to the news. I have a few people I follow. One of them is Joni Patry. She's an astrologer. And then Clearview Tax. He's a very good CPA, and he knows a lot of stuff. And I spend the past 5 years, I have been on a personal learning journey of what is money, where does it come from, how does it work, blah, blah, you know, stuff we're not ever taught in school. And so I'm still going back and watching these videos on the history of money and how looking at the past and the money system we're in right now, it's not that hard to predict the future. So for that reason, what all of these people are saying, December could be a hard month. We might not have the Christmas we want to have. I'm already hearing that, you know, people have been having trouble paying their car payments this year. People are not going to be able to buy as many Christmas presents this year. It's not the worst thing in the world. The car payment thing, yes. And so what turtle can teach us, I think, is similar to Saturn. And it does relate to Lilith, but her position in my chart in particular. Okay, so I want to share that. After the birth of our second child, our lifestyle changed. Our income changed. I did not want to sacrifice money for time with my children, so I worked off and on part-time. And when I had a full-time job and I got pregnant with my second child, I quit after she was born. I couldn't deal with it. I had too much going on with trying to nurse and, you know, go home and take care of 2 children. And my husband was working overnight. So that was another problem in our marriage. And so I quit. And we suffered abject poverty as a result. I said, you know, somehow we're going to get through this. And it was not easy, okay? It was not easy. It's humiliating and it's difficult to have to go and apply for anything and everything that you can get in the form of assistance, clothes, food, you know, getting your energy bill paid, all those kinds of things. And then there are some spiritual, religious beliefs that, you know, and the mother really does have a full-time job just being home as a mother. And that would have been ideal for me. However, that is not what the situation was with me. And feeling proud to get out and make money when you have 1 or 2 children, it wasn't working for me. It just wasn't working for me. So I was walking around with holes in my clothes, but I had time with my children. And so to me, that was precious. They will always remember that someday, somehow, you know, I don't see them anymore. But when it comes to having to switch and downgrade your lifestyle for a while, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's very difficult. You feel like you're being punished. You don't understand what's happening. Why is this happening? It's humiliating. Maybe you've never really had a habit of asking for help before. Now you're having to learn how to do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. And when it comes to your children, of course, you know, we need to make sure all of our basic needs are met. But it can lead to profound sadness, which if that's prolonged, it becomes depression. To avoid poverty leading to depression, you must try to find ways that you can make a little bit of extra money. I sold Avon off and on when I was in college and I wasn't working, and that way I could buy cat food. Cats, you know, were coming to me. Strays were coming to me. I've always had rescues. I've always had rescues. 2 years ago, my spirit guides led me through the tarot cards to do DoorDash. I've been thinking about something to do. I had done Instacart just before my mobile home started falling apart, and I had to sell it for a month. And so I thought, you know, maybe I could have something like that on the side as a little side hustle, right? And so I looked into it, and then I signed up for it, and then I started doing it. It's been 2 years already, and I've learned how to really work it. When I'm on the far side of town, I don't want to be stuck over there. I'll pause my dash, drive back to the west side of town, and then turn it back on. So I've been going out on the weekends, doing 1 or 2 orders. And when I did a half a day assignment the other day, I thought, okay, it's lunchtime. Let me see if I can do a DoorDash. So I signed in, and because I've already been doing it for 2 years off and on, I'm able to have high priority. And it says on there, you have top priority now. So you're going to have to be patient. It takes time for you to build that up. And I have 5 stars. So this is a side hustle that I have. Now I also have my Social Security, thank the goddess. I wasn't meant to have it when I had the mobile home. I needed to let that go. But when I was going through that with the mobile home, I was going through my second Saturn return, and Owl had screamed at me from my bedroom window. And I had asked the park office, do we have owls around here? Of course we do, but I'd never really seen them. Now, I've recently heard them, interestingly enough, every Saturday out here during the summer. Oh my goodness, I think I'm going to sneeze. Been out of my allergy pills. So I'm having to rise to the occasion of how to meet my additional expenses. Rent's gone up, water's gone up, sewer's gone up, auto insurance has gone up, renter's insurance has gone up, and gasoline has gone up. But in order for me to feel good about all the hard work I'm doing, I'm starting an Etsy store. I have an Etsy store. I started an Etsy store. And this was before my rent was going up, but I had heard it was going up. I wanted to do it. I was just following my intuition. And then I followed my intuition to start working with yarn and crocheting with my hands again. This is something that lifts my spirits while I am working hard. We can't just work hard and have nothing else to lift our spirits. But we have to caution ourselves against spending money. I went to Walmart about 5 days ago or so, and there were no eggs. I'm like, oh my gosh. I have never not seen eggs at Walmart. There were no eggs. Even at the $5 price, there were no eggs. And I just asked my Facebook friends on my private Facebook page, my Muggle page. Nobody over there really sees or knows my any other witchy friends I have that make posts, I don't think. What's going on with the Walmart? I didn't see any eggs. Do they have eggs now again? And somebody said not really, The bird flu, it's not like the chickens and the turkeys got well. This person said they were killed. A lot of chickens were killed and a lot of turkeys were killed. And so that's why the price of eggs is just not going down. Now I can get them less expensively at Target. Target does get some nice eggs. They have a section of eggs, not a lot, and they are less money than the big fancy named grocery store just down the street from me. And then a lot of times I'll go to Aldi, but things have gotten higher at Aldi too. So when you calculate things going up 10%, 20%, 25%, well, all of the money that has been printed, of course, it has to be paid for somehow. Now, one of the videos I've watched on the history of money says that when people sit on their money for a while and things haven't really been sold, you know, they got old or they had to get rid of them or the shelves aren't as full, then they pull their money out to spend. I guess there's a shortage of things, and so now they have to make up for the lost time, I guess. Prices go up even higher. Now, hopefully this is not going to repeat of what happened in Germany, and I think it was the 1930s. Hopefully the people in power have read their history books and they've learned those lessons, but we still could be seeing higher prices for goods and services. Services are going to be the first thing that's going to be hit first, and then goods. So, I mean, it could be very similar to 2008, but it could be, you know, kind of worse in other ways. I said to a Lyft driver one day, I've never seen things go back to normal since 2008. Yeah, you know, the stock market went back up, certain companies made money, and people that got in at the bottom made money, but people started working 2 jobs. Some of them worked 3 jobs, and I've never seen it really stop. With employers offering higher wages for people to go to work, those jobs could start seeing hours cut or experiencing some layoffs. It depends on the industry you're in, I guess. So now every dog has its day, and fortunately I've gotten some good raises, and I'm going to continue to take assignments I think that I can handle and just relax and deal with it. I had a difficult day the other day, but I managed it, you know. I'm thinking of the money, and they're still offering some bonuses on Friday, and for quick cash, I'm going out to do DoorDash. And that's been able to help me get my kitty litter and my cat food, and then now it's helping me get caught up on the water and the sewer, so that I'm getting all caught up now. Not having a really another job for the summer though has caused me, you know, some setback. So I don't quite yet know how I'm going to deal with that. If I can make some more, and I am going to have more money this month, and then I'll have more next month. So I'm starting to really build a momentum. You know how your foot gets on the accelerator and it takes a little while for the car to really build up speed, and then you can sort of feel the momentum. So that is what's happening right now, and I am going to be able to put a little bit of money aside every month to build up a savings for a cushion of at least $1,000 by May. And then with me investing also in my business and my chunky blankets, because I'm going to start another Etsy store for that. And my friend is letting me put scarves and hats, and I made a cat bed in her salon. So be a hustler. Don't stop thinking creatively of what you can do to make a few extra dollars, and be a turtle and be consistent with it. You know, I go out, I do 1 order, I do 2 orders. And some people might say, well, you know, go out, spend half a day, spend 4 or 5 hours. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. And it's already extremely cold here, and there's a wind. We've had a snow, and so driving more is not what I want to do. Roads are unpredictable. But my second Saturn return really taught me that, first of all, I really didn't need a big space to live in. I learned how to manage my energy by looking at the app. Some people turn off their water heater when they go to work for the day, and then they turn it on when they get home. Set my thermostat at a temperature that I feel is okay for this house, so things don't rot and smell, and it's not too cold when I get home. I try to keep it at the same temperatures rather than, you know, down, up, down, and up. That can cost you more money. What else? But yeah, just going out for 45 minutes to an hour or so and making an extra $20, $25, that's going to give me that money that I can set aside in a cash balance to build up, so that by the end of next year, when things have gone down even further, the value of companies and their shares prices, like in 2008, I can get in and I can buy shares, and I can start to really see a bigger profit than I've probably ever done before. So, I mean, for me, it's helped that I have studied and I've practiced and done that already a few times. First with a few dollars, and then when I got my inheritance, and then after I sold my house. So I have some knowledge and experience in that area. If you don't, just start saving money to set it aside so that you have that cushion. Everybody needs to have a cushion set aside for 1 to 6 months at least. And then if you save even more money than that, you can go to a broker and talk to them about investing in something. Because if we don't put our money to work for us and have a hedge against inflation, which never goes away, we're going to lose our lifestyle. So the other thing I learned with my second Saturn return was that I needed to exercise and I needed to pay cash for a car. 2 years later, hoping and thinking things are going to be better, that didn't happen. And I kept remembering people that I've met throughout my life that have bought an older car and just paid cash for it. My great aunt and my great uncle, they always paid cash for their cars. And I learned in college what a liability it really is. It depreciates the second you drive it off the lot. And when I went to refinance my Pontiac, after a few years, they asked me why, and I said, because it has more miles on it. It doesn't have the value. Whoops. It doesn't have the value it had when I bought it. I don't need to be paying the amount of money I've been paying every month for when I bought it and it had a lot less miles on it. 50 to 60,000 miles less than it has now. So, you know, they played hardball, and I had to really work extra and then show them my pay stubs, and I finally got it down to what it should be. But then it was falling apart, and it was a nightmare. So I researched for about 6 months or so, and I decided I am going to buy a Honda or a Toyota, a late model car, low maintenance, and pay cash. And so I kept searching for that. After I sold my mobile home, moved into a studio, I began just walking everywhere I needed to go. Everything was just right around me. Everything. Mall, grocery store, Target, Kohl's. And one day when I decided, okay, I can't keep taking the bus in winter, there are some things happening that I don't like, I got on and there it was, the Toyota Camry I'd been hoping and waiting for sale at the dealer for the price that I wanted. I said, I'm coming to get it. Called Lyft, they drove me over there. And yeah, you know, I had been careful by moving into that studio apartment, putting money into the stock market, and choosing companies that I had studied, were stable, and could even pay me a dividend. So, but the key to probably getting through even more difficult of a time than we have already experienced, maybe, is to be consistent with whatever it is. And I'm once again looking at the role models in my life. My parents were artists. My mother had a nerve condition. My father wasn't a big fan of hard work, and neither was my mother. Those are ideas that have been subconsciously rattling around in my brain. And if I don't want to have to keep myself at a certain level just so I can get this assistance or that assistance, which a lot of people, you know, get caught up in that, just do a little something extra consistently, a couple times a week. And finding jobs that I feel like I can handle, and do it 3 to 4 times a week. I will have extra money to invest in my products for my Etsy stores. And DoorDash will give me the fast cash I need for my immediate things that I need immediate cash for. Whether it's my allergy pills or my vitamin C, you know, or whatever. I have enough makeup to last me another 5 years, so I'm good in that area. But yeah, hair color, and you know, if I want to treat myself to a manicure, I go out, I make $25, and I go treat myself to a manicure. That is important. This is what I didn't have when I was in a relationship with a man who absolutely just didn't want to embrace that idea at all. He grew up in real abject poverty, and there were no opportunities. There were no roller rinks. There were no ice rinks. There was no snow hills, you know, to go and sled on. There was no movie theaters to go to. Nothing. Now, we did do that with our kids. I introduced that to him, and our kids grew up with all of that. But he would never do anything like that with me ever. So I did all of that stuff with the kids, and he stood by and watched. And when we had first married, he called me foolish for going to the salon to get my hair washed and cut. But you know what? We have to have a self-care day. We have to have some pampering, whatever it is. And if you want to buy the stuff to do your own manicure, to give your own body scrub, your own pedicure, do it. Do it up good and enjoy it. It is a reward for all of the work you're going to do. If you know, mommy can't have a spa day, get together with a friend or two and do all that at home. Put on face masks, watch a funny movie, give each other manicures, something. Get creative and find a time to find someone to do something with. If you're isolated, it's not good. I just didn't know how in the world I was going to do any of that when I was raising my children, because everybody else I knew was raising children pretty much and had their own family and friends. So, you know, now that I'm older, Astarte has helped me find some friends and resume this hobby. And so sometimes we have to work hard until we can see a bigger reward. And that is also a lesson of Turtle and Saturn. I think Saturn relates to the turtle in that way. It is the slowest moving planet. It is the great teacher. And I've said Saturn can make you cry. You're going through this change, right? This realization that it's good, no matter how much money you save or make, to have good principles with how you use your money and how you spend your money. And yes, I'm still learning that. I am having to get myself up and out and reward myself with being able to invest in making more products, or taking myself out for a manicure and making the kind of money I can make by just working more for two weeks in a row at least, maybe 3, especially when the holidays are coming, because then we have days off. January's not a month I'm really going to want to go out and do DoorDash in. That is our snow month. That is the height of winter, where it is the coldest and generally the snowiest. But yeah, you know, I have to take advantage of what I can. And I did have to take off Friday because I walked 2.25 miles on Thursday, and the classroom was difficult. But every other day is 3 days a week. And because we received raises, that could really help me. I'm also going to apply for another little part-time job just to see what happens. They said I could work 1 day a week, 2 days a week, 2-3 hours, whatever. They're very, very short on help. I have been contacted by this company before, and they have a tendency to promote from within, giving people, certain people, their own store, maybe after about a year or so. And I do have a management degree, so I don't know what's going to happen. If my handmade items really take off by creating a separate store where all kinds of people can go to buy the blankets and the scarves and the cat beds. Sometimes we have to do that as left-hand pathers. We have to go and get a job in the mainstream. We have to go and market some of our products and ideas in the mainstream. Otherwise, we are cutting off our nose to spite our face. Or to spite our face. Whatever it is. You know? Our spiritual life is supposed to enhance our daily physical life. And it has. That's what it's done for me. I've had someone ask me exactly how he could work with Astarte following my video. And that was a wonderful feeling. And I explained to him what he didn't really need to worry about and what he really just needed to focus on. And then do all those things. And let the Spirit reveal exactly how it is that she wants to help you. Because we can't always say, you know, I want you to give me this and this and this way. They don't work that way. I think they have to work with what's going on in their subconscious mind and what's going on in our astrological chart. So for me, having Lilith in my second house of finance has not only represented independence, but with her position, her frequency with the moon also, it represents extremes, wherever it is. And so for me, it's been extremes with money and also extreme emotions with money. It has to do with self-worth and self-value. That if you have every single thing you need, and now I am in the nicest structure apartment I've ever been in. I have everything I need. And more appliances and pots and pans than I can really use. So, sometimes we have to wait until we can see the benefits of all of that discipline all of that restriction that we have done, and having to stay home to provide our own entertainment, our own fun. And so this would go along with the Four of Pentacles, by the way, in the tarot card, where we are being very, 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 very conservative with our money. Every penny that we make is going towards either paying off that car, or paying off that house, or paying cash for the furniture, paying cash for the new sofa, if those are things that you really need. And not putting them on the credit card, or not getting a loan, things like that. And that, that's the problem with every country that's ever gone into debt, borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. And my aunt and uncle didn't believe in that. They just did not believe in that. And it was a part of their spiritual philosophy that you just don't borrow money. And when they had, they paid it off as quickly as they possibly could. And so, yeah, they taught me a lot of really good lessons by them growing up in abject poverty and the Depression. My mother and my father were also growing up in the Depression. They were younger than my great aunt and my great uncle, but I heard a lot of statements about money. And growing up in the modern culture where everything was, faster and convenient and ready-made, we've just grown accustomed to getting caught up in things such as borrowing for this and borrowing for that. And I still have my car and no one can take it away from me. I went the other day because my bulb went out, and I went to a Mexican restaurant and this man told me my light was out and where I could go. So I went to AutoZone. I paid $7 for 2 bulbs, and he went and he changed it in the back so I wouldn't get a ticket. And then I thought, well, my third brake light's not working. I should go get a bulb for that. So I did some more DoorDash, got another bulb for that. Watched a YouTube video and put that in. So I got that fixed. There's a lot of things that we can learn to do on our own, which will save us money without putting our physical body in jeopardy, right? It's not getting under the car, jacking it up, or anything like that. Everything is so far is good, my battery, my tires, but I also have Lyft on my phone, just in case I need to call for a ride. And then the grocery store I can order my food online for free as long as it's a minimum of $35, and they bring it, or I go to pick it up, or they bring it to my house. I think either way. So we have a lot of wonderful modern conveniences we can tap into. So yeah, Lyft wasn't even in town when I was losing my mobile home until the very end, like 2 months before my house finally sold. And so then I knew I could start taking Lyft. And then DoorDash came into town, I think, the following year. So depending on how big your city is, you might have to wait for that, or you'll have to, find some other things to do. But remember to keep yourself calm, have some kind of a reward for yourself at the end of the week at least, or a couple times a week, treating yourself, pampering yourself, or taking yourself out to get a manicure or go miniature golfing. But work for that so that you have the money to do that. That's your reward for all the hard work and all of the discipline and all of the restrictions and all the hunkering down that you're going to have to do regarding spending for the next 12 months. So that is what I have to say about that. I hope you understand. Oh, my candle's crooked. It's probably driving everybody crazy. If you understand what I'm trying to say, or if this is helpful, please give it a like, share, and of course subscribe.